All right, let's give maybe one more minute. I still see people coming into the live. All right, let's get started. Hi, everyone. My name is Quentin Jones, and I am a software engineer intern at LexisNexis this summer. I want to welcome everybody to our event, Interns versus COVID-19. Um, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so um, just some housekeeping and a little intro of what we're going to discuss today and what we're going to do. Um, we're going to do an intro for all the interns. They're going to be able to introduce themselves. Then we'll roll right into the Q&A panel. First, we'll start off with some registration questions, and then Carol will go in, talk about international students and how they can get ahead and actually get internships here in America. And then after that, we'll try, if we have some time, we'll answer the questions that are live QA. And after that, we'll wrap. And let's, all right, let's go into some introductions. Um, I'll start. Once again, I'm Quinton Jones. I go to East Carolina University. I am a senior, graduating in May. I am a software engineer at LexisNexis. I work for Team Janice. And what we do over there is we kind of innovate kind of tools for our customer base. Most of my work is web development, front ends and server side things. Background about me: spent some years in the military, in the Air Force. I love traveled all over the world. I'm from Durham, North Carolina, and a fun fact about me is I'm an international. Who do we have next?
I think I'm going next. So hey guys, my name is Sammy Bietar. I'm an NC State student, and I'm a computer science NC State student, rising senior. I'll be graduating in December. I changed my major a bunch of times, so hopefully that's a similar experience. A lot of people are going through that. This is actually my first internship at LexisNexis, and I'm working as part of the content building team. And basically what we're doing is just expanding our data sets and extracting data, sanitizing, and doing all that stuff. And then a quick fun fact is I like to skateboard.
Hey, my name's Ashlyn Chapman, and I'm from Charlotte. I am currently on co-op, and I did 2 rotations back to back, so I've been working at LexisNexis since January. I'm about to be a 3rd-year student at NC State in computer science, and at LexisNexis, I'm on the global DevOps team, so we do a lot of work in automation. We like clean up the files, keep everything organized so that the code can be deployed on release nights effectively. And a fun fact about me is that I physically cannot sleep without with a pillow behind my head. I can't sleep with a pillow.
Hi everyone, my name is Carolina and I am a rising senior in computer science at NC State. I'm going to graduate in May 2021. I am actually from Brazil, so I'll be talking a little bit about international students and how you can land some internships, so keep an eye on that. And now here on LexisNexis, I've been working with the automation team. So I've been working with doing automation for testing for a current app and also for the newest launch for LexisNexis that is called Lexis Plus, which has been really, really fun. And a fun fact is that I love the TV show Friends and I know basically every line.
What's up, guys? My name is Mikah Pinegar. I go to NC State. I'm studying computer engineering right now, but I also kind of switched around a lot. I thought I wanted to do like biology and then chemistry and then physics. And I was like, nah, electrical engineering and then computer engineering, but now I'm kind of doing computer science. So yeah, I am a senior. I've been working at LexisNexis for almost 8 months. I started at the same time that Ashlyn did. We work on the same team. So we work on a lot of automation projects and making Jenkins pipelines, and like what I've been working on a lot is Python. So just writing Python scripts to do stuff in AWS on the cloud and just to automate a bunch of processes and make it easier to do repetitive tasks like changing one line in files and just stuff like that. And a fun fact is that I think I broke one of my toes one time, and now I never went to the doctor. And whenever I walk around, it like pops whenever I take a step.
Hi everyone, I'm Matt Tucker. I grew up in Durham, North Carolina. I'm going into my senior year at NC State University, majoring in computer science and minoring in statistics. I'm a software engineer intern at LexisNexis, and I'm working on the Council Link application, which is a web application that helps corporations manage their legal portfolios. And a fun fact about me is that I'm a huge soccer fan.
All right. Well, let's start and get into some of these questions. Now, with the questions, like I said, the first round we're going to do is some questions we pulled from the pre-registration pool, and we're going to ask Tabby here. She's going to introduce herself, but she's going to ask us the questions, and we're going to answer and probably have some conversations about our experiences with each question. Okay? All right. Over to you, Tabby.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Quentin. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us today to learn a little bit about these LexisNexis interns and co-ops and kind of their experience. And as Quentin mentioned, we're going to go through some common questions that we received in the pre-registration. Our interns and co-ops will kind of speak to their experiences on the questions that you guys might have. And then if you have any additional questions that come up while we're going through this discussion, please feel free to put them in the Q&A. There should be an option to write in questions in the Q&A box, and then we'll be able to publish those later for the audience to see. And we will hopefully have a little bit of extra time at the end to get around to your questions. But thank you again. I am Tabby Fink. I am the University Programs Lead for LexisNexis Legal and Professional. And really happy that you're all here with us today. So we are going to start off with our very first question. This question is for Sammy, and it is, how do you prepare, or how did you prepare for a software engineering technology internship?
Yeah, so I think that how much you need to prepare and how you prepare really depends on how much information you know about your position at the company, and also like the size of the company. And the more information you have about what you're going to be working on, the more preparation that you would need to be doing. I know in my experience with LexisNexis, for example, I actually didn't know a lot of information about what kind of projects I'm going to be working on as an intern, and what type of teams and who I'm going to be working with. So there are always like a couple of things that you could always be that you should always like check off. Like whenever you get an internship at some company, always try to familiarize yourself with what are their products and who are their customers, and what is the core of the company, and just kind of doing something as simple as going through the Wikipedia page of the company where you're doing the internship, and just trying to get as much information and knowledge about the company that you're working for, and that kind of allows you and positions you to ask good questions whenever you're actually at the internship and talking to your managers and supervisors and stuff like that. So there's always that basic research. And then if you do know information about what the type of project that you're going to be working on is and what type of technologies you're going to be working with, then just doing that, getting a little bit more experience working with the syntax of the languages and familiarizing yourself a little bit better with the technologies that you're going to be working with. So yeah, so it depends on how much you know, and always doing that basic research about the company that you're going to be working for.
Awesome, thank you, Sammy. And does anybody else have any tips or tricks on things that they might have done to either prepare for this internship, or things that you wish you had done to prepare for this internship now that you're looking back and getting towards the end? Okay, sure. Go ahead.
So whenever I was like going through like the last rounds of like interviews, I always recommend for you to maybe ask, because you're going to be talking with your team and for who you're going to be working with. So maybe you can ask them like if there's anything you can do to prepare on your time off between school until like our internship starts, like anything you can go over, any tools that it can start like on tutorials or something. It can be really useful.
Great, thank you, Carolina. Awesome, so we will move on now to the next question. And this question is going to be for Mikah. And this is, how did you adapt to working from home and to doing online classes? So I guess just kind of the transition from, the pretty abrupt transition from going to classes in person and your expectations to do an internship or a co-op in person, to kind of how you prepared yourself or what you did to transition everything into a virtual format.
So I had kind of an interesting experience because I haven't done any online classes yet because I was a co-op. But I also had a unique situation because I started my co-op in person, and then like in the middle or towards the end of the first rotation, we ended up switching everything to virtual. So I kind of got both sides of that, whereas most of the interns came in fully remote, so they had to get like onboarded and trained and all that from fully virtual. So I didn't have to do that. But even just switching from being just working to going into like fully remote work was kind of complicated at times, especially at first. Like it was hard to be like, okay, I'm all my work is on the computer. I can't just like go ask somebody for help. I can't go, get coffee with somebody or like go eat lunch with the other co-ops or anything like that. So that was kind of frustrating at first. And it definitely made it harder to like make friends, I feel like, because it was pretty easy when you're in the office to talk with people and just be like, hey, what's up? Like we're working on the same stuff. I see you every day. Let's go get lunch or something like it. It's hard to do that when you're on Teams and it's not something that you really want to do as much. But as far as like things you can do to improve, I would say just like if you're able to try to have your office somewhere that's not in your bedroom, like I think that really helps, and like try to compartmentalize stuff a little bit, and just like when you don't have like a really set up space to work, like it makes it complicated to focus and to communicate while still like having an extra monitor and having like trying to make it as much like an office as you can when it's not, just to be like I don't know, it's easier for my brain to be like, okay, I'm going to work, and it's like a little bit separated for me, and like I have an office and a desk, and it's like not just like, I don't know, a sad spot in your room or something. So I think that really helps me.
Yeah, that's great advice. I would definitely say I would agree with that, just even for myself, or this is really for anyone, just kind of getting used to that transition, being able to actually have dedicated space and like set up monitors and a keyboard and a mouse and other things. That's really helped me, because that wasn't something that I had at home prior to this, just because I was typically in the office every day. So I think that that's something that a lot of people have taken the time to do, to really just set up a space at home that is their workspace, and they know every day that's where they're going to work. So it's not tempting to work from bed or the couch or other places that it's easier to be lazier. Thank you, Mikah. Next question is for Matt, and this is, how do you stay healthy during this pandemic while working from home? So I'm not sure if this is like physically healthy or mentally healthy or both, but whatever you want to speak to would be great.
Sure. So working from home definitely makes it easy to not stay healthy because you don't really have to go anywhere. You can just like roll out of bed and open your laptop and get to work, and then after work you can just go straight to the couch, which is obviously not healthy. And like Micah mentioned, it's like get your workspace out of your bedroom, which is definitely a good idea. My workspace unfortunately is in my bedroom, so I got to make like a conscious effort to, you know, get dressed so I'm not just like rolling out of bed and not doing anything. Yeah, so it's a good idea to make sure you go outside during the day, like during your break or during lunch, just go for a walk. And then there's parts of working from home that actually make it easier to stay healthy. Like, for example, it's easier to exercise during work since you don't have to worry about like changing back into your work clothes when you go back into the office. Yeah, so basically I just have to say, yeah, you just have to make more of like a personal effort since like no one's counting on you to stay healthy.
Yeah, that's great. And I know that another thing we did for our interns, and I know a lot of other companies probably do this too, is there are some company offered like meditation or wellness sessions. I know with our interns this summer, we did a meditation and yoga session one day, which was kind of a cool way to break up the day and give everybody the opportunity to kind of step away from work and do some mindfulness and reflection. And I think a lot of companies also offer similar type things, especially with everything going on in this virtual environment. So definitely taking advantage of all of those opportunities and things that are presented to you, I would definitely say would be a good piece of advice. Thank you so much, Matt. Next question is for Ashlyn, and this question is, what essential skills or experiences are you either gaining or losing by doing internships virtually?
Yeah, so when I started my co-op, we were in person in the office. And so when we were there, it was really easy to meet people in my team and people outside my team. Like we ate lunch with an accountant a couple times. So I think that's something that you're missing out by doing your internship virtually, is that you have to be much more conscientious about networking. But I do think that you are gaining some accountability and saying, look, I can be productive while I'm working from home and I don't even like know that much about anything. And it also, when you're working from home, you have to know when you do need help. Like you are responsible for learning your things. When we were in the office, people would just walk by my desk and like chat with me and then see if I had any problems. But now I have to go out of my way to get help.
Definitely. And I think that is, while it kind of requires you to go above and beyond a little bit, it's definitely important, right? To kind of take that extra step to make connections and to schedule time to meet with people so that you can make sure you're getting all of the like pieces of your work and projects completed. Great, thank you. The next question is also for Ashlyn. This is, does the college you go to matter for applying to programs and internships at big companies, or do they value experiences more? So what is your experience with applying for internships, or maybe seeing other students applying for internships, and I guess your opinion on whether they value being from like a larger school, or if it's more based on like experience and your knowledge?
Yeah, so some of my upperclassmen friends have like gone through the internship process a couple times now, and generally what they say getting internships at these like big FANG companies is that it's probably harder to get the interview than it is to get the job once you get the interview. And so sometimes you're gonna have to apply multiple years, or your like resume might get lost in the stack because they have so many applicants. But one trick that one of my friends said to do is like if you get a rejection email, to save the recruiter's email, and then the next year email them directly about applying for this job. And a lot of times they'll schedule the interview with you like in that email thread, and you don't have to go through the process the second year. So I think overall your school doesn't matter as much for getting the job, but it might matter in the pipeline into getting the interview that gets you the job.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to speak to experiences with that? In my personal experience, I would definitely say that it matters a lot on your experience and not just where you went to school, especially with the transition to virtual. People are just really looking for hardworking, go-getter individuals who are going to come in and have a positive attitude and be willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. I think that that's kind of the most important piece. And I would agree that getting interviews is sometimes the hardest part, but if you are well prepared and you do end up landing an interview, then it's probably easier to make that connection and kind of get that internship. All right, next question is for Quinton. So for students who either didn't manage to get an internship this summer, or for students also who had their internships canceled or had their internships offers rescinded, what would your advice be to those students?
I think your mic is muted.
Oh yeah, Quentin, you might be muted. I think I muted you because there was a little bit of background noise. Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yep.
we can hear you now.
Okay. All right. I would say to keep moving, keep trying, don't give up. Just because this summer didn't happen doesn't mean next summer won't happen. Even if you're a senior, there are plenty of opportunities throughout the year. You can look into co-ops and things, and even being at this town hall and learning about how we did it and trying to tailor your ways into kind of what we were saying might land you a internship, going to virtual job fairs and things. A lot of people are afraid to do it virtual, but things of that nature, just stay positive, and it'll come to you.
Great, thanks. And is there anything specific that you did to kind of help you land this internship, or is that a later question that I'm skipping ahead to?
That might be a later question.
All right. We'll circle back around.
Okay.
Great. So the next question is for Ashlyn, and it is, how can I use LinkedIn as an effective tool? So I guess any LinkedIn tips that you might have for helping you get an internship or a co-op, or any tips and tricks that you've learned along the way when it comes to LinkedIn?
So I would say definitely link to any like personal projects you have outside of school, or any like events that you're related to, like this COVID interns versus COVID LexisNexis posted. So then a lot of us shared that, and so it shows our connections that we're like being active in our internships. Another thing is that once you start like entering in your experience and your skills, those become searchable. So like when I started putting in the activities I've been doing on DevOps, my page got so many more views. So I think it's a matter of putting in your information and being active on it, and then making connections, and people will start coming to you.
Sorry, having trouble with my unmute button now. Does anybody else have LinkedIn tips? Anybody else an avid LinkedIn user and want to kind of speak to anything that they might do?
I would say one thing you can do is add like your hobbies. That's something I do. I'd put like woodworking and weightlifting on there, and I've actually had people hit me up and be like, yo, you like to woodwork? And so it's just a cool way to just like meet people that are like random and not really like for a job, but just to meet cool people that are interested in like in the same area as you.
And I would also like to add, try to stay active on it, just like you are on Facebook. Keep it professional, but stay active, like sharing posts, adding people connections. Anytime you see an article that you like, post it. So people who want to hire you or want to invest their time into you, they can see that you're actually interested and this is a kind of a lifestyle to you. So I would suggest that.
Definitely, I would agree. And then I also think following companies that you're interested in. So if you have a dream company, Quentin, would you mind muting your mic real quick? Thanks. Sorry, just a little bit of feedback. I was going to say, if you guys have dream companies or places that you really want to work, hopefully that might be LexisNexis, but I know there's lots of other great companies out there as well. Definitely follow them on LinkedIn. A lot of times companies will post their timelines for when they might hire internships or co-ops. I know something that's usually something we do when we open up our new graduate application. We probably do post it on our main LexisNexis LinkedIn page. So that's another great tip if you guys are interested in knowing about like when to start the process or kind of learning more about companies. That would be my advice for LinkedIn. Great, so thank you all. And then this next question is for Mikah. So how do we interact with how do you interact with team members who are not, let's say, like your manager or your main internship contact while working virtually? So like, what is a good way, or what are ways that you have found that you can network while being remote?
Well, I think that it definitely changes a lot when you're remote, because like what I used to do is just, there was the coffee spot, you know, in the office. So I just go get coffee with people and be like, hey, what's up? You know, I work on the same team as you. Like I'm, you know, just started, I'm an intern, like all this. So that was kind of the easier way for me, at least, like just being more social and like it seems more organic. But I think when you're remote, it's just important to just be respectful of people's time and just be like, hey, what's up? I need like some help with something, or I don't know. It's harder to network, I feel like, because it's hard to just hit somebody up on Teams and be like, hey, how's it going? Like no questions or anything, you know? So it's like, I feel like the best way is to get to know them through working with them a little bit, and then maybe like you can talk to them a little bit outside of that. And like for our team specifically, we have like a channel that's hidden from the rest of the company, so we can like talk on there, and we like tell each other when we're going to lunch, and we make jokes, and we have like gifs on there, and it's like a funny, cool spot where we can kind of hang out a little bit, and it's not like the whole company doesn't have access to it. So it's like, that's a good tool for, that's not something that you can really like set up, but maybe if you want to like talk to your boss and be like, hey, can we set up a Teams channel just for the team to like talk and, you know, like interact with each other beyond just like work, you know, because it's kind of hard to just hit somebody up on Teams and be like, hey, what's up? How are you doing? You know, like that's kind of a weird like dynamic to have. So I think that setting up a Teams channel is a good way to do it. Or like what we also do is have virtual social hours for our team, like once a month, where we all get together on Teams and we'll video chat and we play like games, and we'll do, you know, we did like Pictionary and like trivia and weird games like that, you know, and just hang out and have an hour on a Friday and just get to know each other a little bit outside of work. And I think that stuff like that is really all you can do when it's all remote, because it's like you can't just hit people up or be like, you know, let's get lunch or something if you don't know them and you have no connection with them. So I think it's important to do that kind of like, you got to make like, it has to be a team focus a little bit. I feel like your manager has to be on the same page, and your whole team has to be like wanting to actively get to know each other a little bit.
Great, thanks. Anyone want to build off of that, or other ways that they've found to network and make connections?
So for co-op, the Career Development Center makes us do like a career informational interview with somebody at our company. And honestly, it was kind of annoying to do, but actually it was really informative and helpful. And I think if you reached out to someone under the pretense of a career interview, they'd be like, oh yeah, sure, like I can talk to you about the industry, but like in that conversation, you can get to know them better, get all their contact info, and then you like build a rapport between you two. So.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. Awesome, Ashlyn. Okay, We will move on to the next question, and this question is for Quinton. So how do you get a job or an internship if you might have, I won't say only because it's definitely still a great accomplishment, but if you have maybe an associate's degree or a degree in, say, IT or another like business degree, but you're really interested in computer science. So like, I guess not feeling like you're limited to job opportunities based on your degree.
Well, funny thing is I actually had associates in software development from Durham Tech. So is it possible? Sure, it is. IBM has programs. A lot of big companies have programs for people who are pursuing associate degrees, or just, I think it's a white collar, I think, kind of program. People are starting to have something like that. But plenty companies are just looking for experience. Schooling is not as big anymore because, let's be honest, anybody can go get a degree, but can you actually do the work? Are you dedicated? Is this your lifestyle? Is this something you love? It's a whole person type of thing. So if you go to Wake Tech, Durham Tech, or anybody's tech, community college, or you got some certificates into Java or C# or whatever, and you actually can code and you actually understand data structures and stuff because you took some online classes and you can demonstrate this during the interview, lovely, you get hired. It's not a make and break you if you have a 4-year degree or not. I just chose to go get one because that's just me. I'm just a learner. I'm probably gonna get a master's. I'm probably gonna get a doctorate. It's just me. But you don't have to get a job and start working.
Great, thank you, Quinton. Next question is, I'm interested in new languages like Julia, Golang, Rust, and Kotlin for side projects, but are they practical when preparing for the job hunt? And this question was for Sammy.
Yeah, so I definitely think that side projects are a really, really good way to just kind of put something on your resume that'll look really, really good, especially if you don't have like prior experiences. And if that side project that you're working on does require like a newer language that's not necessarily the industry standard, like a Julia or a Rust or Golang, then I would definitely say definitely go for it, because a side project that you have passion for is so much easier to be motivated for and to have the drive to actually commit to the project and actually follow through with it. But I would definitely consider if you could do that side project with some industry standard languages like a Python or a Java or SQL. That's definitely going to be a plus for when you're applying to a job and they see that your side project was done in a language that they're already using, that company is already using, and that kind of puts you a step ahead of the competition. But if it is something that requires that new language, or if you're like really interested in that new language, I definitely say go for it and have that extra drive that doing it in the newer language will give you is definitely worth it. So.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Thank you, Sammy. And I think just from a recruitment perspective, I think anything you can do to, obviously knowing like the industry standard languages and being able to contribute to teams in that aspect is definitely important. But honestly, anything you can do to like stand out and differentiate yourself from other people who might be applying to these internships or jobs, I would say absolutely go for it. I don't think that doing some side projects or exploring languages that might not be industry standard right now would at all hurt you in any way. You might not want to dedicate all of your time to that, but I think it's definitely still important and valuable. Thank you. So we're getting close on our time for the Q&A, so I'm gonna pick a couple more questions that we have left, and then pretty soon we're gonna let Carolina speak about some international student related things. But okay, so we'll go ahead and we've kind of already touched on this a little bit. So I'm going to go to Matt, and we'll go to, actually, no, we're going to go down to Sammy again. Which computer science class taught you the most skills to be successful in your internship? And I guess this is kind of bouncing back off of what we were just talking about a little bit. Is there anything super valuable that you've taken so far in your classes that have given you the knowledge to help you out in the internship?
Yeah, definitely. Like besides the obvious foundational computer science classes that are just kind of the foundation of all of computer science and all the work that you'll be doing, I would definitely say that a data structures class, like a data structures and algorithms, those classes are definitely like a lot of the bread and butter of a lot of what you're going to be doing if you're doing software engineering. So yeah, the data structures and algorithms, making sure you're familiar with just the basics of how all the different data structures work, which data structures and algorithms to use in what different types of situations. I think those are really, really important. And then just like a general software engineering course was super, super helpful because it just kind of gives you experience working as part of a team and also like working on a slightly larger project, because for a lot of the more basic classes, you're just working on like smaller projects that can get done in a weekend or two, but getting experience working on a larger project, especially with other people, is definitely like super, super good. And if you can take a class like that, if your class offers, or if your university offers a class like that, then I would definitely say a software engineering type course where you're working as part of a team. Great, thank you, Sammy. And we are going to close out this with one last question. I'm going to take it over to Quinton. So this question is, I'm changing career paths, and I would like to know how I can get a recruiter's attention and show that I'm interested and capable of being considered for positions in my desired field.
Well, once again, like I said in my introduction, I was in the Air Force, and this was a major career change for me. I went from being an HR manager to full-on tech. And no doubt during that time, people did ask me to do their tech stuff, help me with their computers, hook up printers and all this other stuff. So I'm just a tech person. But what I would say is, start going to events. Hackathons. There's an event in Raleigh that happens every year. This year it'll be virtual, called All Things Open. To be honest, this is how I got this internship. Just so happened, last year I went to the event. I was by myself walking around for a while, and I stumbled upon the LexisNexis booth. And somebody looked at me and said, "Are you a student?" And I smiled and said, "Yes." And she said, "Send me your resume." And I did. I was very active on it. I had ran back to my laptop, sent it to her. I had it ready for her, went back out to my little class that I had and talked to her. And within a week, I was interviewing. Within the next week, I had a job. So, it's about putting yourself out there. And I know this town hall is about, things being virtual and COVID and how things have stopped, but that doesn't mean you need to stop. Like I said, virtually, All Things Open is still having their event this year. I don't know what their booths are going to look like. Only thing I know is I'll be there in hopes that some kind of opportunity falls in front of me and I just walk directly through that door. So my answer is, with every opportunity, take it. Don't be shy about it. Do the best you can do with it, and try to look for more. Don't let anything come to you. Try to go for them. And that's my answer. I hope I answered it.
Yeah, I think that was great. Thank you so much, Quinton. I definitely agree with you. The biggest thing that you can do as a student is capitalize on all of the opportunities put right in front of you. Odds are your university is supporting a lot of either these big events, or they might be having a hackathon of their own, or there is just tons and tons of things going on in your local communities and ways to get involved and meet people and network. You don't have to go to like a formal networking event to meet somebody and to find out about an internship or another kind of opportunity. You can really do that in so many different ways. So I think, yeah, just the best piece of advice is exactly what Quentin said. Just make the most of every opportunity. Say yes to things, even if they might be a little bit out of your comfort zone. You'll learn a lot and be happy that you did. So awesome. Thank you so much. And I think now, Quentin, we're turning it over to Carolina. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
Hi everyone. Okay, so now if Quinton, you can advance the slide. Yes, perfect. So I'm going to be talking a little bit on how can you stand out as an international student to make sure that you put your best foot forward to be one of the best candidates when applying for a job. And this not only applies for international students, it can apply for any student that is willing to build up your professional development along the years. But this is actually what I did the past like 2 years and how it helped me like get my current internship. So yes, if you can go to the next slide, please. Perfect. Okay. So I would say the first thing that you have to do is to not be discouraged by receiving a no. I did receive a bunch of no's before. I applied to many jobs, and after like seconds that I applied, I got a rejection letter just because I marked that I would need business sponsorship in the future. Or for example, I was reading a job description and I loved the job and I had all the required skills. However, there was this little note at the bottom that said US applicants and permanent residents only. So that can be a little discouraging for us because we try to find like a job that we can work on. But I would say do not be discouraged by that, because it's important for you to keep trying and keep improving yourself, that you will get there eventually. So you can go to the next, please. Okay, so I've gathered 10 tips that I think it would definitely help you to build up your resume and your experiences, and it can help you stand out on an interview or when searching for a job. The first one would be to check out your city and your region's tech organizations. There are plenty of organizations in the RDU area that host incredible events throughout the semester. Some of them are focused to women, some of them are focused to international students, some of them are focused for people from specific majors. So I definitely think you should look them up and check out their events because it can be really nice and to network. So that's awesome. The next one that I would say is to check out your university's career center. They are really, really helpful when you're trying to prepare for interviews or building up your resume and cover letter. They also host a lot of events and throughout the semester that can be really nice for you to gain some experience on the more professional side. So make sure to check them out and don't neglect those emails. And in the same like ways, I would say to not neglect the emails from your department. In computer science at NC State, I receive emails from our department either like every week or every month. And I know a lot of students, they don't even care about those, they just skim through those. But I would say for you to really, really take note, because usually at the end, they have like a calendar and they're gonna say like, we're having this event with this company that is our partner, and they are looking for people from your university and your major. So make sure to attend those events, even if you're not interested. It's a really good way to network with people. So really check them out. Quinton, you can move forward. Okay, so number 4, build a relationship with your advisor and professors. I cannot stress this enough. It's really, really important for you to keep in touch with them and build a relationship with them, because they can be a really good source for recommendation letters and even for career opportunities and research opportunities. They can be really, really nice and really help you out and support. I am really close with my advisor for my Department of Engineering. She knows me since before I came to the United States, when I was still in Brazil enrolling for classes, and she's still my advisor like up to like this point, and we just keep in touch, and it's just very nice to have her like as a support, as a faculty that I know I can count on. And that's why lead me to tip number 5. Look for nationwide and worldwide conferences that you're really interested in, and talk with your school about funding. So that's why building a relationship with your advisor and professors is really important, because if you look at those conferences, they have all around the country and all around the world, and they are very good to build up your professional experience and also to put in your resume and show that you're like an active member of your community. So I would say to look them up and make sure, like, if you talk with your advisor, they can support you, and check with your university if they can sponsor your trip. As an example, if you can see in the picture, in February, I went to San Francisco, California. There was no COVID yet, so I still got an opportunity to go. And I went to this conference that is called Startup Grind, and it was just about entrepreneurship in tech and just like new innovations. And I talked to my advisor, and she thought it was such a great idea that I actually ended up representing the Department of Engineering at that conference. And that was just a really good experience. So that's why tip number 4 and 5, they really go well together. So number 6, check out your university's job board. I don't know about other universities, but from my experience for NC State, we do have our own job board that is called EPAC. So it's kind of a LinkedIn, but for people from your university and for alumni and employers. And there you're gonna find job postings from employers that are looking for people and for students coming from your university. So they know your background, they know your skills, and they know your university. So it's a really good way to apply through that website, because I don't know how the process really works, but I do think they really keep an eye on that. So it's a really good idea. The next one, please. All right. So the last few ones would be to be involved on campus. Make sure that you're involved on campus, join clubs and organizations that can help you grow, not only personally, but also professionally. On my experience, I've been an orientation leader. I am a computer science student ambassador. I am involved in the Brazilian Student Association, sorority. So I think like being involved on campus shows that you're a really well-rounded person and that you can work with different group of people, and you get experience and you learn how to deal with different kind of people. So that is very good to show to your employer that you're active and that you care about others and your community. Number 8, increase your LinkedIn presence and stay up to date on tech news. I think we talked about LinkedIn a little bit before, but as like we said, it's a really good way for you to show your accomplishments, your school projects, some events you participated. It's a good way to start building on that, because a lot of times employers are going to check your LinkedIn and see how well you present yourself. So it's a really good tool. And also it's a really good platform to follow the companies that you like and make sure you're up to date on their like newest launch or the newest tech news. So it's a really good way. Number 9, networking is key. Networking is one of the most important things that you can do early on and throughout your entire professional life, I would say. You need to start early, and the more you network with people, the better your connections are gonna be. And let's say you went to like an event here, like or any other career event. Connect with someone that was at that event, share ideas, and make sure to keep in touch with them later, because even if they're not the ones that are going to be offering you a job, they can be links to job opportunities. They can let you know of new openings in their company. So it's really good. So networking is key. And number 10, but definitely not the least, start early. Don't leave to try to build up your professional experience and try to put things on your resume on the last minute, because this is our process. It's going to take time. Sometimes things work, sometimes things doesn't work. So I think the earlier that you start preparing for that and build it up, not only your professional career, but also that's going to help you grow your personal life. I think it's really good to just like show that you're very active and you learn from each of those experiences. You're going to learn something that you can share in a job interview, and that might be even what gets you the job. So I think the earlier that you start building up on that and working on that, it's very, very nice, and it's a key for success. So start early. You're a freshman, go to a career fair. Even if you're not going to be hired because you don't have tons of experience, you might connect with someone, and then next year when you're a sophomore and you already took some like really good classes, you can go ahead and send them like an email or like a message on LinkedIn. Hey, I'm interested in this position in your company, and I have done this, this, and that I think would be really good for that position. Can you link me up with someone that could tell me more about that? So yeah, so every event and every connection counts. That's how I've been like, I've tried to be really active and really proactive since I was a freshman, because I know how frustrating it can be, especially for international students. It's hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's really hard. You do have to put the best like out of yourself to build up and show that it can stand out and that you have skills that other candidates might not have. So yes, so those are I hope that helps like people, international students and other students, or basically anyone. They're really helpful for everyone. So yes, that was it. Yeah, so if you like missed out on some of those tips and you just want to refer to them later, I'm gonna be posting an article on LinkedIn later today that contains all of that. So you can, if you want to look me up and check that article, make sure to take notes on those like tips. It's gonna be helpful, and good luck.
Awesome. So I think we are just about ready. We have about 6 minutes left for the live Q&A. So we've been monitoring some questions that have been coming in through the chat. I think some of them have been answered by some of our panelists here already privately, but if you guys have any more questions or anything that we haven't touched on, please go ahead and put your questions in that Q&A box. We might not be able to get to every single question today, but we will definitely try to kind of put together answers to questions that we might not be able to. And we have most of your emails if you guys signed up through the pre-registration. So our goal is definitely to make sure that we follow up and get everybody's questions answered. But we will go ahead and start with the question, how did you get an internship with LexisNexis specifically? What process did you go through? So I know we heard Quinton's story about all things open, but does anybody else want to talk about their specific experience and how they landed the internship with LexisNexis?
I can answer this. So I applied back in the fall. I think it was around like October, and then a few weeks later they asked me for an interview, and so I did the interview, and shortly after that they gave me a call and gave me an offer. So all of that was and I accepted it, and all that was done before coronavirus happened.
And did you apply through EPAC, or did you apply through where did you find the application?
On EPAC.
Okay, great. Yeah, so for those of you who may be wondering, so we typically, we post our jobs like on our LexisNexis careers page. So like that's probably the best place for anyone, regardless of what university or community college or anything that you attend. All opportunities are posted on that LexisNexis careers page. So if you're interested, definitely go ahead and look that up and kind of see what opportunities are out there. We don't have our opportunities for next summer posted just yet, and I think that's another question in here, so I'll get there in just a moment. But does anybody else have a different experience? Any of the co-ops, Ashlyn or Mikah, do you guys want to talk about kind of the co-op application? I know it's a little bit different since you have a partnership with your university, so that might be helpful to hear a little bit about.
It was pretty similar. The only thing that you had to do differently is go to the co-op office and get approved from them. So you go talk to them, and there's like a little class that you have to take that's pretty quick, and then you talk to your advisor, and then because you have to take a semester off of school, so you have to talk to your advisor and then the co-op office. But it's pretty much the same thing. Like I applied through EPAC also.
Okay, and can you explain for those who might not know the difference between an internship and a co-op? Can you explain that?
Yeah, so an internship is usually just a summer-long thing, so it's like a couple months long. You come after the fall, or sorry, after the spring, and then you leave before the fall. But a co-op is basically, the goal is that you do 3 rotations. So you take 1 semester off, and then you take 1 semester on of school, and you do that 3 times essentially. So you'd work like a fall, and then go to school in the summer, and then work in the spring. Actually, I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can do fall and spring both off. But you rotate the semesters. So you take 1 off, 1 on, until you get 3 semesters of working done, and then you get a certificate from NC State that says that you've done a co-op, and it's basically you have a year of experience. So when you apply to a job after you're done with school, you have 1 year of experience, and you get paid when you're working. So like it's a paid position. And yeah, that's pretty much the deal.
Right. So it typically delays graduation by 1 year, but the benefits are that you have a full year of experience working and you get paid while you're in school for a full year of working. So that's pretty cool.
One other, like, it doesn't have to be 3 semesters. Like I'm only doing 2 rotations. So this is going to be my last rotation. And a lot of companies are fine with doing that. Some companies will even let you do 1 rotation if you're like, I could only work for the spring, but not the summer. Then some companies will even be fine to do that. So it doesn't have to be 3, but I'm not going to get the certificate, but it doesn't really matter. It's like I still worked for, 8 months, which is really what matters.
Awesome. Thank you. And then, so I know we're getting close on time here. So the next question, and I just did want to touch on this a little bit. So the next question is, when do applications for internships start for summer 2021? That's a really good question. So I know this event specifically isn't necessarily like a recruitment event. Definitely recommend again that you all connect with us on LinkedIn, and we have your information too, so we'll be able to hopefully send a follow-up with any of the questions we weren't able to answer. But for internships for summer 2021, we typically open those applications pretty soon after school starts. So in kind of the fall time frame, late August through September, I would definitely be on the lookout. Look on your university career portals, and then also on our website to find those, and also follow LexisNexis on LinkedIn. We'll probably be posting on there as well. And then I'll just do one more question. I guess we can go to the can we contact you all after this session question. And I will turn it over to Quinton. It looks like he has his LinkedIn photo up there. So Quinton, do you want to tell us how people can connect with us after, and then kind of wrap us up?
Yeah, sure. So first, I would like to say thank everybody for coming out and watching this and being a part of this. There was a lot of work that was put into, a lot of preparation to get this done. I know it might not seem like it was, but it was. And I also would like to thank all the interns that participated in this event. You didn't have to, but you did. You volunteered, you stepped up and did, and you shared a lot of helpful information to a lot of people. That being said, all of these interns have opened up their avenues to be able to contact them and ask them questions. I don't think anybody here has any issue with helping someone out or getting somebody where we are and beyond, and especially me. This was actually my event that I kind of put together because I saw the need for people to know how to move forth, especially when there are barriers. And one of the biggest barriers today is COVID, and moving from in-person things to virtual things. And a lot of people aren't able to do that. Well, some people actually probably prefer that because they don't like, doing things in person. But either way, it's a shift that the world is coming to, and I wanted to be one of the first people and represent the company of LexisNexis. So we're the first people that come out to you guys and make sure you had the tools and the necessary things to succeed. So I have posted my LinkedIn picture right here. So if you go and search my name, there's the mugshot you'll pull up. I will also be sending out this recording to everybody that pre-registered, so you guys can have it, and just in case you want to go back and look at Carol's PowerPoints, or you thought you missed something. Also, I will be going through answering some questions from the pre-reg myself. But if you have an immediate question, please feel free to reach out to me. A lot of these interns are on my LinkedIn. If you remember a name, you can go right to them. Or if you need for me to point you into their direction, I have no problem with that. Thank you all for coming. Thanks for the interns for participating. Big shout out to Tabby for the support.
Absolutely.
Like I said, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll actually stay back for about 5 to 10 minutes if anybody wants to throw some more questions in the chat, and I can answer them if they're really something really quick. I can just say I don't know when LexisNexis is going to put out some internships or co-ops or whatnot. That's some research you have to do yourself. Follow them on LinkedIn, follow them on social media, and I'm sure you will figure that out for yourself. But if any other questions, I can take them for the next 5 to 10 minutes while everybody else is hops off. So anything else from any other interns?
I can hang out too for a second. I'm still answering some questions.
Great. All right, I'm heading out to my next meeting, but thank you everybody so much who joined, and thank you, Quentin, for putting this together. This was awesome. Take care, guys.
See ya.
All right, let's see. I think you guys have really answered them, a lot of them. Wow, you guys are on point. Is there any other questions while we got people here? Any new questions? Thank you for whoever anonymously said thank you, and we're all awesome. I don't know who it was. I feel like it's my manager though. I do feel like I feel like it's my manager, Amy. She loves me enough. Well, you know what? How about this? How about Carol? What was the benefit of joining a sorority? Did that benefit you in any way, or anything like that? What would you say to people? Is that like a stepping stone to building your resume or your LinkedIn or your profile in general?
Definitely. Well, actually, Tabby, the HR girl that was just here, she was in my sorority, so I've known her since 2017, and she was actually my member education when I just joined it. She was the one who taught us everything that we need to know. So I knew her from before, and she graduated when I was a freshman. But then we kept in touch because I knew she joined LexisNexis, and that was a company that I was really thinking of applying in the future. And actually my story is that last summer, last January, so January 2019, she posted on our sorority group chat that her company was hiring for this position, but it was a full-time position. But then I reached her out and I asked, hey, I'm a sophomore right now, and I'm looking for a summer internship because I still didn't have any. And then she replied to me. She was like, unfortunately, like our recruitment season is over for this summer, but reach me out like for next recruitment season, so like in August or something, and I'll make sure to link you up. So then I did. I actually applied through EPAC, but I also let her know that I was applying. So she kind of had me in mind. She knew my experience. She knew me from before. So I guess it was a really good networking. I got this chance here, and I think it really helped me out.
Okay, so you would say it was very beneficial for you to do that. It opened up an opportunity.
Yes,
for you
to.
Okay. All right. I had a question that I got to answer. It was about side projects. And what could we do with it? Was it like an hour or something, an hour or two? Let's see what exact say. Yeah, so if I only had an hour to do side projects a week, good things that could be accomplished with that amount of time. So, all right, 1 to 2 hours a week isn't bad. I would suggest so I would spend an hour thinking about what you're gonna build and then an hour coding a week. For instance, so for one position that I was applying for and I was in competition with somebody for at ECU was working at kind of our little nursing program or whatever. And I had like a ton of little side projects and group projects that I did, but the other person had created himself a stock market app, and I was like, well, I don't know if I can beat that. Where would I get the APIs and but they got me thinking of, you know what, I could do things with that because APIs that are free out here and that you could, connect. So I would suggest spend an hour thinking of some good ideas that you can possibly put together. And then the next hour that you have that week, just coding and being creative. And, the first hour while you're thinking, do the research too, just to prepare yourself. Don't try to, code without preparation is basically what I'm saying, because you'll be just sitting there knocking your head against the wall, and that's just not good for business. So, any other questions that are new? I wonder if
I think with that, if you only have an hour or two a week, you should start on something small that you can build off of. So it might take you a month to get a base product that you can share, but then you can keep implementing new features onto it and growing it. So it looks like it's really big and you've spent a lot of time on it, but in reality, you've just broken down the projects into small things that you can do one a week.
Okay, I have to drop off because I have a meeting soon. But it was really nice being here with you guys. I hope what we shared was really good. And also, if you need more tips, I'm going to be posting that on my LinkedIn. So make sure to check it out. But yes, good luck to everyone. Okay, bye.
So for the question about international students, preparing yourself, if you pre-registered, I'm sending this meeting out to everyone. Carol, who just dropped off, did a wonderful slide about it, and to kind of do a recap of how to prepare yourself. You might want to stand out. She joined organizations. She got really close to her professors, and they allowed her to have opportunities and with research and to travel and meet other people and network to be able to get her, profile, built up so she can, stand out in front of others. So I would recommend you doing that. And I am going to type her name out in the chat under your questions, and her LinkedIn is open. Actually, you know what I can do? I can put it in the live for you. Let me do that. There you go. So that's her information. Look her up. She's wonderful. She's friendly. She's very outgoing. She'll be able to answer all of your questions that you need about international students. Anything else? Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you, guys. I'm going to go ahead and cut it.
Yeah, me too.
I'll see you
Thanks
other
for
guys
coming,
at
guys.
4:15 or 4 o'clock. But everybody else, thank y'all.
See ya. Have a good one.
You too.